Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
She takes it, what happens?
She fell. She broke my glass, like my very expensive glass.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Jeremy Feltz claims a one-of-a-kind glass vase was broken by the defendant. Ms. Murphy claims it was an accident. She says Mr. Feltz broke another vase that day, and the glass from that caused her to stumble.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. You guys are going at it with each other here. The interesting relationship between the two of you is that you're both very passionate, but you are making money, you're making money. How did it come down to this?
Well, I have a store for the
Right.
last 10 years.
Yes.
And the name is Honey Raisin Home Good.
Okay.
It's a store that I buy very different items for your house.
And
I
I'm sorry,
buy
you said you'd had it for 10 years.
for 10 years.
And you're the sole owner of it.
Yes, I'm the owner.
And Miss Murphy, how long had you been going to the store?
I've been going there for over 2 years.
All right. And why that store had you frequented so often?
He gives me good prices, good discounts. You know, there's other stores around, but I've been
But
doing
that
it
wasn't
for...
that part of the issue, that even though he'll give you a good price, you still want him to take off more, and he's like, okay, come on, and you go back and forth.
I'm from New York. I'm a bargain shopper, so he
Okay.
gives me good deals. I've been
All
with
right.
him for over 2 years.
But on this particular occasion, you weren't happy with the deal, or were you?
I was happy with the deal.
You were happy with the deal?
Yes, sir, I
And
was.
you were happy with the deal, because you keep having her come back, and you make money every time she
He
comes
loves
in.
me.
Of course, I respect all my customers,
All right.
especially her.
But
She's
why
like
did
a
it get
loyal.
to this
She always
point
comes.
with the vase here?
Well, you know, this is the vase.
Show me, I can't see.
Okay, this is the vase.
I'm getting older. I
It's
gotta.
a very expensive
One
vase.
year older now.
1 year older, man.
It's a very expensive vase. It's glass.
Very nice.
And she really liked it.
Very nice.
Yes.
I like the color on that as well.
And the vase was on the window. Okay. That day when she came into my store, she was already complaining about everything.
She was complaining
about
about
the
everything.
prices.
She's a New Yorker. You know?
Exactly. Hello.
But I totally understand, and I always gave her a discount.
Right.
For that particular vase, I can't. It's a very unique vase.
And how much was it? Were you selling it for? Was it $450 or something?
$450.
That was the actual price that we're dealing with. This
Yes.
is the vase that became a problem.
Right.
But you had decided you were going to buy a different vase.
No, I actually bought other products in the store.
Oh, it wasn't another vase. It was just other items.
Other items.
But you had been talking about this vase.
Yes, 'cause I
You
just
knew you
loved it
came
so
in
much.
and wanted it
Yes.
anyway.
Anyways.
And you were going to try to say, all right, fine, I'm going to leave without buying it. But
Yeah.
you knew you wanted it anyway.
Right. I was trying to see if he could go down on the price, but he didn't after I checked out, and I just couldn't keep my eyes off of it.
You made a purchase. And take me from there.
I made a purchase after
Yes.
I checked out.
Okay.
So I was telling him about this vase. I was like, it's not made of glass. There's no way it's made of glass. He's like, it's made of glass. It's made of glass.
What did you think it was made of?
I don't know. Like, it just didn't look like it was made of glass. Like, it looked
Okay.
kind of plastic to me.
Okay.
So he takes the vase and slams it on the floor, and it just shattered everywhere. And I'm like, okay,
Not
it's
the
made of
vase
glass.
that you were talking about,
Not,
though.
not the vase I was talking about. Another vase.
Well,
a
what
smaller
was the
one.
point? Why did you do that?
Trying to
Well-
prove something to
Well,
me.
she came to my store that day. She was really annoying me. Like, she was complaining. She was
all the other
yelling.
times she wasn't annoying, but this time
But this
she was.
time she was really like
Oh,
yelling at
really
me.
annoying, huh?
Like, I have other customers in my store. 4 of them left after she was yelling at me. So, and she said, this is not glass. This is too expensive. It's like a plastic, like a hard plastic. I was like, no, this is glass. I have the same vase, a small one, like it's like $20, really cheap. And then I showed to her, look at this. It breaks like glass. It's the same material.
Like, why would you break your own product?
Why would you do that?
Well, I wouldn't do that for somebody else, but she was really like disturbing me. She was
He loves
really
me.
making me feel so bad. You know, so I have to prove to her the glass that I have in the window
Why
was
did you have to prove
real.
it? Why not just say, okay, fine, don't buy it?
But she would never stop arguing with me.
She wouldn't stop arguing with
No,
you.
she was the whole time talking, and then I just broke a little. I mean, it's my vase. It's a little
You can
one.
break
I have so
it.
many of them, and I broke, and I cleaned it up
And when-
after I
okay.
vacuumed.
What? You break a vase, you had carpet, or did you have wood floors? Did you have hard tile?
No, it's like a hard floor. It's
You
no
had a hard
carpet.
surface.
But I vacuum because I don't use broom in my store because everything's so clean. I don't like dust on my items.
Take me through this process. The two of you are going back and forth. It's glass, it's plastic, it's glass, it's plastic, it's glass, it's plastic. It's glass! Psst. That's what
Yeah.
you do.
Not exactly like that.
Okay.
Not exactly like that.
How did it
the
go?
way she was telling me.
I said, it's not glass. He's like, yes, it is. I'm like, it's not glass. Yes, it is. He picks up the vase, slams it down.
Did I not just do that?
Yeah, you just did that.
You did
But
exactly that.
Picks up the vase, slams it down.
Stop. You tell me how it went.
I came to her. I'm going to show you another vase that I have. It's the
No,
same
before
material.
we get to that point, you went, this is glass. She said, no, it's not.
I said,
You
this is glass. And I was
She
like,
said, no,
look at
it's
this,
not.
this vase. It's the same material. Look what's going to happen.
And then you...
And I throw on
Did
the
I
floor.
not just say that?
Same thing.
Did I not just say that? What's different than how I described it than what you described?
It's the same thing.
It's...
Without
Coming up on America's Court,
She takes it, what happens?
She fell. She broke my glass, like my very expensive glass.
and later,
Now, what I find fascinating is that any time you could have left and said, this is not working for me.
Excuse
because
me, Your
you did
Honor.
have free will to leave.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you. He seems very charming.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Jeremy Feltz, who is suing Lisa Murphy for property damage.
The question about this vase is one involving you wanted it, you were leaving, but then you came back and went round two with this vase. She takes it, what happens?
She fell. When she looked at me, I was going to help her. I didn't have time. It was too fast. I didn't know she was carrying the vase. And she was looking to the door and she was walking and she fell.
You just
like,
said you saw
she
her carry.
broke my glass, like my very expensive glass.
This is the vase that you wanted, that you initially argued about, and as you're leaving, you go back and then you drop it.
I go back. I'm
And you
like,
drop it.
I have to have this vase. No, but that's not how I dropped it. I didn't just fall just to fall. I picked up the vase. I'm
What
like,
type of shoes are you wearing right now?
heels.
Is that typically the type of shoe she wears?
She walks like that all the time.
She always
She
comes
likes
in-
making me shorter.
I mean,
Were
Anyway,
you
went
wearing
like that.
heels that size?
I was wearing heels about 3 inches that day.
Okay, all right.
But what happened was when he dropped the smaller vase, he vacuumed everything up. But you know, when you break glasses, all the pieces aren't always picked up. There's some pieces that's left. So I picked up the vase. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jeremy, this is heavy. He's looking at me. He had just recently told me it's heavy. He's looking at me carry the vase. Instead of coming over there and helping me, like, let me help you, Lisa. Let me help you carry it, or we carry it together. He looks at me. So as I'm walking, I trip over a piece of glass that he missed, and I fell, and the vase broke, and I had a piece of glass in my foot.
Did you sue him for any injuries as a result of that?
No. I sent the picture to my boyfriend. My boyfriend was like, baby, just don't worry about it. You know, just let it go. I'm like, no, now he's trying to sue me because he wants me to pay for a vase that I dropped and tripped over his piece of glass. It was his fault.
Well, wait, if you're wearing heels, how did the glass get...
It slipped under. They're open toe. It
They
slipped
were like
under.
sandals?
Yeah,
Heels?
like sandals. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this?
No.
Show him. Because when you said you dropped that glass, I must admit I did think, I don't care how efficient you are, when glass shatters, there's always a little piece here, a little piece there.
That's why I was the vacuum.
I
Because the
understand
vacuum will
But you
sort
missed
everything.
pieces, though. That's what I was telling
But
you.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm really sorry you hurt your foot. She didn't tell me when she left the store. She broke the vase and she left.
Well, he
So
told me to
I didn't
get
see
out.
any blood.
He
I
told
didn't
me
see
to get
anything
out,
feeling
'cause he
pain.
Did you
was
tell them
upset.
to get out because you were upset that she broke
No, she left.
You told me to get out. Get out.
No, I said,
broke
if you
my
don't pay
vase.
the vase you
Get
broke,
out. Pay
Yes.
for it.
You are not gonna. I don't want you as a customer anymore.
it? Okay, then what she's saying is true because she didn't pay for it. So you said get
She
out.
didn't pay. She didn't pay. But there's a policy in my store. If you break, you pay. If you break, you buy it.
You break it, you buy it.
Yes, that's a policy I have in my store for the whole time I have this store for 10 years. And she knows this policy because there is one time, that was December last year, during Christmas time.
I don't need to know.
Thank you.
Have you been back in the store since?
He He won't let me go. I'm a loyal customer. I buy from him all the time. My clients, they're not millionaires. They
It's a
work
no.
9 to 5.
You haven't gone in. You're missing out business. You guys couldn't work this out? You're missing her business. For the amount of money that she spent over the course of time, you are probably, from a financial standpoint, it would be strategic of you to say, you know what, let's work this out. Don't pick up anything else again. Keep coming, keep spending money. Let's keep doing this. You don't want her in the store anymore?
I wanted her
I'm just
before, but
asking
right
right now.
now, I
You
don't want her in the store. I want her to pay the vase that she broke. I always respect
All
her,
I was
and
asking
she
is,
didn't
do you
respect
want
me.
her back in the store, and your position is yes if she pays for the vase.
Yes, if she
Yes,
pays for the vase.
I got it.
It's
Based
a
on the
policy
evidence and the
that she
testimony
knows.
before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the defendant. We were good until you broke that glass. Because let's assume, for the sake of this discussion, that you hadn't broken that glass, your argument would be much more convincing. But if all this happened in the course of her still being there, I don't care how much you vacuum, it is certainly possible and certainly reasonable to conclude that there was a piece of glass that would have caused her to slip and fall. You can't meet your burden in this case.
But why did she pick up the
You don't
vase
get
from
to
the
ask the
window? She
questions
can't.
up
It was
in
too heavy
here.
for her.
Why did you pick up
Excuse me.
Sorry.
He's talking to me and you're answering. See,
Sorry.
what I get from this are some people actually like the dysfunction in being in relationships, whether it's marriages or siblings or friends or neighbors. Some people really get off on all that. And if it's working for both of you, fine. But if you come to court and you say to me, this is what I did, and in the moment of her working me up, I threw some glass down, well, then you put yourself in the position of being liable. She could have sued you. And guess what? She would have won. Your matter's dismissed. Case closed.
Thank you, Judge.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
I probably shouldn't have broken the small vase. But I'm not ready to have her back in my store yet.
At the end of the day, I'm a loyal client, and I wish he would let me come back to the store.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
Now, what I find fascinating is at any time you could have left and said, this is not working for me.
Excuse
because
me, Your
you did
Honor.
have free will to leave.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you. He seems very charming.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Hannah Freeman went on a wellness retreat with the hopes of detoxing her body. Instead, she left severely dehydrated. Ms. Freeman is suing self-proclaimed motivational speaker Dallas Venton in the amount of $5,376. Mr. Venton claims the plaintiff signed a waiver which cleared him of any responsibility.
Ms. Freeman, you had a bad experience when you went on this retreat,
Yes, sir.
and you ended up not doing so well.
No, unfortunately not.
What actually happened to you as a result of going to the retreat?
I ended up in the hospital, honestly.
You ended up in the hospital.
Yes, on an IV. And I ended up dehydrated completely. To the point that the doctor said that I was lucky that I made it. And
As in lucky to have
Meaning
stayed
that-
alive.
yes, absolutely. They said, you're lucky you're here.
And the issue was you voluntarily went on a spiritual journey that was offered by you, Mr. Benton.
Correct.
Talk to me about what exactly you do, sir.
I'm a motivational speaker, and I came about doing that when I was very young. I had a rough upbringing, and so what I wanted to do is find out what made people great instead of just good.
Okay. And you implemented all of these philosophies that you were able
Correct.
to discover and put them into some sort of
I've wrote 3
motivational
books.
program. You
Yes.
wrote several books.
Yes.
And
And that's where I met, at one of my signings, I met Hannah. And so I wanted to, meet and ask her a lot of questions, of how she's have a very successful clothesline. And so I was thinking the retreat was a must. She needs to come to the retreat so
you
we
didn't
could
know
sit down
anything
and talk
about
about
the
it a little bit
retreat
more.
until he brought it up and said, I'm having this
After the
retreat.
signing,
Yes.
he gave a little speech. He pulled some of the participants separately.
Yes.
And pretty much we were all intrigued by his speech.
The ones I think that
He
can
had
handle
planned
it.
this out for a week.
And what did the
Encourage us to
retreat
sign up.
consist of?
The ultimate goal is to see what your body can actually be, do. A lot of times our mind limits
What do you mean, see what the body can do?
It consists of a grueling hike.
Okay.
On the
Was
fifth
that
day.
sort of the apex of
Yes.
this week, that you were preparing and training and mentally getting yourself
Exactly.
to overcome the obstacle of a designated hike?
Exactly.
Coming up on America's Court.
Now, what I find fascinating is at any time you could have left and said, this is not working for me.
Excuse me,
Because
Your
you did
Honor.
have free will to leave.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you. He seems very charming.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Hannah Freeman, who is suing self-proclaimed motivational speaker Dallas Venton for medical expenses.
Now, what I find fascinating is that any time you could have left and said, this is not working for me. Something is happening that causes you to go, I like this. Whether it was the one-on-one, the other participants, what your body, what your mind was experiencing, you were getting something out of this.
I mean, excuse
Because
me, Your
you
Honor.
did have free will to leave.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you. He seems very charming.
All right. Well, that's subjective. He may be charming to you, but the issue really becomes one of, well, you so charmed by him and so enamored that you lost control of your senses and your decision-making abilities?
I think at one point, yes, I was too flattered by the fact that I
you
saw
have
him
someone
as a
here, and I
father
see this
figure
person has been nodding
as
and so
well.
forth. Let me bring this person up. I'm sorry, Mr.
Jeff Ray.
Mr. Ray. What's the relationship between you and Ms. Freeman?
We met at the retreat.
Is it fair to say everyone was struggling for whatever reason?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
You were
That's the
struggling.
point, Your Honor.
That was the part of it. It wasn't supposed to be Disneyland.
I asked all the other participants to share some of their water because Mr. Venton refused to give me another bottle of water. He only gave us one bottle of water each for this entire hike.
Did she say, I want some more water?
Correct.
Did you say
And
no?
that was part of the process.
Did you say no?
I said no, and I told the other participants to say no also, because we only had one bottle of water, and you were supposed to ration it. She finished hers right at the start,
I
and then
got
she
it.
started complaining
I got it.
and
Okay,
water
fair
and
enough.
just
Give me your background training and expertise from a standpoint of being someone with a medical understanding and knowledge of the human body.
I have no medical
Excuse me,
experience.
Your Honor, he's not
Ma'am?
a doctor.
Ma'am?
He's not certified.
Ma'am! I'm saying, ma'am, are you going to keep talking? Play your position. I'm good up in here, all right?
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
I was a self-help guru a few years ago, James Arthur Ray, and they were doing hot yoga in Sedona, Arizona. Release the toxins and let your body experience the shock. And what ended up happening? 3 people died. All right, Ms. Freeman, we're going to do a little rough justice here. $2,150 is your judgment. That is the order. Case closed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $2,150.
I gave her plenty of water.
I'm very pleased with the ruling, and I'm glad that Mr. Venton will be held accountable for his actions.